guys, it's Tishro again, and today I will discuss the new Naval Strike DLC. Unfortunately, I haven't experienced it firsthand, but I will try to do my best when it comes to explaining the maps in the new game mode that came with the DLC. The guns, I'll leave them for another video, so stay tuned. Battlefield 4 Naval Strike takes the intense and dramatic water-based combat introduced in Battlefield 4 to the next level with a new amphibious vehicle, the hovercraft, and 4 all-new maps set in the South China Sea. Rather than wowing audiences with spectacle or destructive events, the studio has been focusing on how the player can interact within the levels to create and block paths for vehicles, make other strategic use of environments. That's directly from the Battlefield book. This means that the evolution, we shouldn't expect something dramatic like the tower falling in Siege of Shanghai. We should expect things that are smaller but actually affect our gameplay more. The Siege of Shanghai example wasn't very right, to be honest, because the evolution in Siege of Shanghai really changes the way the maps work, but let's say the evolution in Zavod 311, nobody gets affected by it. Being all about ocean combat, some of Naval Strike's interactive events will revolve around that style of gameplay. For example, you will be able to close flood doors to stop vehicles from entering a submarine base and capturing the objective inside, says DICE. You can also blow up parts of a crashed airplane to create new cover for infantry. The maps, of course, are 4 and they are called Operation Mortar, Naval Strike, Lost Island and Wavebreaker. Each of them has its own place in the game, and from what people have said so far, they all were great and seem like good overall Battlefield maps. Now let's talk a bit more in depth for the new maps. After all, who doesn't like new maps? Lost Island features a downed airplane in the center of the map, which is giving me flashbacks of the rather excellent Afghan map from Modern Warfare 2 if you've played that Call of Duty. Operation Mortar has a series of huts surrounding a smart archipelago with an old fort overlooking the entire battlefield, making it a heaven for snipers. On the top of this fort, there's some old cannons that you can actually use, and there's an assignment if you get a kill with them. It's a very nice touch on DICE's part, I appreciate it. Wavebreaker, which gives the player intense fight in deathmatch modes, according to the book, focuses on a submarine base that allows for tight close quarter combats. I really hope it's not the type of Operation Locker close quarter combats, because that's sometimes fun, but most of my playtime on this game in deathmatch mode is more frustrating than actually enjoyable. Last off the rank is Naval Strike, oddly described as a very bolt heavy map. You'd think most of the maps in Naval Strike were bolt heavy. It's not really naval warfare without a lot of bolts, isn't it? Still, I'll be fair and let the developers explain. The central area provides a lot of cover for infantry and is a death trap for water vehicles if they try to enter it via the small rivers. The surrounding bases can be captured from the water, with some offering big bases in the middle of the sea for infantry. It actually sounds like a very good map for 64 players battles. Now let's go to the new Carrier Assault game mode. Carrier Assault is a homage to the Titan game mode of Battlefield 2142, but this time the all-out war rages in the South China Seas, as I said before, and your objective is to destroy the enemy team's carrier before they infiltrate and destroy yours. Our goal has been to make Carrier Assault a really engaging mode, and we truly believe the amount of variety presents each round will assure that. You start with fighting a big-scale war with sea, land and air vehicles, controlling the map, and then everything involves an infantry-focused close-quarter fight inside both carriers at the same time. This is all taken from the Battlefield 4 blog, so probably most of you don't know what Titan game mode is, so I'll try to explain Carrier Assault more in-depthly. So, how is a match of Carrier Assault played on? There are 2 ways of destroying the enemy carrier, either by full map control or assaulting the carrier as an infantry. Each round is divided in 2 stages, starting the map control and entering with Carrier Assault. By map control I mean conquest, and carrier attack I mean rush. It's a very nice combination between rush and conquest, so you can get a feel of both. Both teams start on their own carrier and race to control the missile launchers placed on the map by capturing the control points near them. By capturing, it will automatically launch missiles towards the enemy carrier throughout the round, eventually destroying its hull and making it open for infantry attacks. When this happens for one or both teams, the carrier assault state is started. The team can then either drive a boat to the carrier and climb aboard, or use the parachute spawn points above it. Once inside, the team must destroy 2 MCOM stations, which will open up new areas to the carrier, with engine room being the final one. Destroying the 2 MCOMs or bringing down the carrier's health to 1% once in a carrier assault state will win the match for your team. That was all for today's video. I hope my explanation was in-depth enough and easy to understand. Sorry for not uploading much videos, but I was to Italy and then I had to catch up in school. I didn't have much time. And if you're interested in what happened in Italy, I can make a video about it. That was all for today. See ya in the next one.
Liggett.